was there perhaps something that wasn't being revealed in the actual performance as it was performed, but that there was perhaps something hidden? And was there something in the technologies that you were developing that might be enabling and revealing of some other facet or component that might be present in the performance of a tune or a song or whatever?
Yeah, so if we have this goal of being able to share emotions and experiences between people, and to kind of replicate this hidden transmission field between us when we're here like this,
Sure.
but over a distance and using technology, then you have to think about what is the way that technology can make visible these invisible transmission fields that we have. And what's the way we can add to the human senses to be able to break down these barriers between humans and how we communicate.
And how do you know that they're there?
Well, I think we know that they're there because of how we communicate. And the way you know they're there is because when you communicate sometimes over technology today, think of a video call with someone from across the world, we don't have this level of interactivity and there's this missing transmission between us. So there's something when humans are in proximity to each other that we can't actually see, but we know it's there. And the question is, how can we use technology then to be able to replicate that and add that into how we communicate at distance?
Are you talking about collapsing distance, really?
Yeah, basically, yeah.
And that you're finding some different emotional bonding agent that can exist over time and space.
And that comes to the crux of what we're doing here. So I think very soon you're going to perform an experiment for the audience here in the Bord Gáis Theatre. Right. And it's an experiment on this path to how we want to create this new language of communication to share emotions and experiences.
But did you began with that smart cities thing, that video analytics. Would you explain a little bit about that to me?
So the base technology that you'll get to see that is going to cooperate and collaborate with Philip in a few minutes is a video analytics technology that we developed in Bell Labs for advanced smart city applications, like how you monitor traffic patterns and how you send only the valuable information over the network, consuming far less power and far less bandwidth.
Right.
And then this technology works really well. It's very robust and reliable, and it does a very good job for its main application. Sure. And then we thought, well, what else could we sense in the world around us if we turned the camera on parts of the natural world? And just for fun in the lab, we turned the camera on fish swimming in a fish tank. And we turned their movement into music. And we were expecting this to sound pretty horrible, to be honest with you. But magically, the music that the fish created based on their movement, tracked by our video analytics, was very musical, very pleasing to the ear, and had pattern and structure to it, which really surprised us.
So you're interpreting gesture?
Interpreting the movement of the fish in this way, and we're going to interpret your gesture. So then it made us think, well, what else is going on in the natural world around us where there's these hidden messages or hidden communication or hidden fields that we can't perceive as humans, but how can we use technology to augment our senses to get a better sense of how we can communicate with the world and communicate with each other? And that's exactly what we've done. We've taken that base video analytics technology and we're going to apply it in experimental form with Philip, where Philip is going to narrate a couple of poems. And we're calling this piece Creating Sonic Empathy to Augment the Spoken Word.
Imagine that.
And Philip is going to perform that now with our technology, and you're going to get a sense of how we're on this path to add emotion and add experience to how we communicate as humans.
This first piece that I'm going to speak for you is very, very appropriate to this experiment. And here's the very strange thing. This poem was written in the 13th century. It was written by a Persian poet whose name was Rumi, Jalaluddin Rumi. And it's called Where Everything is Music. And it's so appropriate. It could almost have been, I suppose, commissioned to be written as part of this experiment. So here we go. This is my first venture into experiment science. Right, okay. Where everything is music. Don't worry about saving these songs, and if one of our instruments breaks, it doesn't matter. we have fallen into the place where everything is music. The strumming and the flute notes rise into the atmosphere, and even if the whole world's harp should burn up, there will still be hidden instruments playing. So the candle flickers and goes out. We have a piece of flint and a spark. This singing art is sea foam. The graceful movements come from a pearl somewhere on the ocean floor. The poems reach up like spindrift along the beach wanting. They derive from a slow and powerful root that we can't see. So, stop the words now. Open the window in the center of your chest and let the spirits fly in and out. Well, that line, that there will still be hidden instruments playing, he must have known in the 13th century what we were about to be at. Here we are in 2017. And we talked a lot over here about transmission and migration. And we know a thing or two about that in this country. We certainly do. The migrations out of Ireland in the 1600s, 1700s, and then after the tumult of the famine, the migration pattern that is still with us in many ways, that has almost become a habit, began. And we often say to ourselves, you know, when we look at the drawings and the images and the representations of those hundreds of thousands of people that left and the songs of emigration that were written about them, when we think about them, we think they left with very little. They left with no material goods. They left with nothing of value. This, of course, is not true. These people left with an amazingly rich collection of songs and tunes and songs of love, of loss, and of longing. And in the cabinet of their hearts, they took something remarkable with them that was necessary emotionally to sustain them as they went on their journey, and sometimes as they landed in a country speaking Irish and speaking a language that was not understood in the place in which they landed. And this second poem that I'm going to speak to you is a poem by the really wonderful Irish poet Moya Cannon. She's written eloquently and beautifully and insightfully about our music and the power of music, and the power of music to pull us together and to be a succor and a salve in times of great loss and great loneliness. And this poem is called Carrying the Songs. Carrying the songs. It was always those with little else to carry who carried the songs. To Babylon, to the Mississippi. Some of these last owned less than nothing, did not own their own bodies. Yet 3 centuries later, deep in their hearts, their souls, the rhythms of Africa carry the world's songs. For those who left my country, girls from the Downings and the Rosses, following the herring boats north to Shetland, gutting the sea's silver as they went, or boys from Ranafast who took the Derry boat and slept over a rope in a bothy. Songs were their soul's currency, the pure metal of their hearts, to be exchanged for other gold. other songs which rang out true and bright when flung down upon the deal boards of their days. Now, there you are. Thank you. Domhnaill, thank you very much. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.